sat by last night at the Oakmont Bank. Yeah, we sat together. Yeah. Yeah, well, I'm excited to hear about that. Yeah. Good. That's great. Well, I can say if I can help you with anything down there, you know what?
Hey, were you clear on that script?
Okay. Would that be cool?
Time interviews for players.
Yeah.
Where they're on the head table. Were you able to make two? Okay. So you'll know when they stand up for 30 seconds. Okay. Thanks. All right. Thank you. What time you got, Brad?
I got 13-2.
You know, we wanted to start at 6:45. I know the weather's so bad.
Yeah. I'd get about 10 more, I think. Everybody
start making your way to your seat. We're going to get started here in just a few minutes. You can go ahead and find your way to your seats. We're going to start here in just a couple minutes. If you don't know where you're supposed to be seating, ask somebody from the Touchdown Club. I know we've got a few folks walking around that can point you in the right direction. It's going to be a fun night. We'll get started here in just a couple of minutes.
Nobody in the crowd ever noticed.
That is very embarrassing. Crew. Did they come? The crew? Were you on the plane today? Good time? Good. Thank you. Those of you that are getting your food, you can go ahead and find your seats. Where's Debbie at? There's Debbie raising her hand. If you have a plate of food and can't find a place to sit or not sure the flights were late and getting some of our honorees here, but we're here tonight, and I want to encourage you to remember to live in the moment. I think of Willie Roaf to my left. Willie, it was a year ago that your dad was here and gave maybe one of the greatest speeches ever given at the Little Rock Touchdown Club in 14 years. I want to encourage you guys, if you have not seen that, to Google it. Just Dr. Roaf gives a speech at the Touchdown Club. It was one of the most inspirational speeches, and nobody knew, Willie, that a year later that he wouldn't be with us. So it just reminded me that enjoy the moment tonight. We got the best football players in the state of Arkansas. We got the best football players from across America. We've got three of the greatest football players to ever play the game. One of the greatest safeties, one of the greatest running backs, and one of the greatest offensive tackles to ever play the game of football. And we know everybody in this room loves football. And so tonight, I hope you enjoy. I know there's a lot of parents here. I know there's a lot of family here. There are a lot of coaches here. Just try to turn your mind off all the negativity and things you're dealing with at home and just enjoy tonight. And we'll get out of here at a decent time, and you'll enjoy what you hear tonight. Without further ado, Tom Mitchell, will you come up there? Gary Underwood normally leads us in a word of prayer. He could not be here. So Tom Mitchell with the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame is going to come up and lead us in a word of prayer. Tom?
Bow with me, please. Righteous Father, we thank you for the evening at which we've had the opportunity to gather to fellowship around the tables tonight. But we thank you for these young men who have displayed the talents that you've given them and used them well. And so we thank you, Father, that we're able to honor them tonight, as well as the coaches who have helped to mold them not only with the physical abilities, but also with the integrity of being young men. We thank you for the very opportunity of being able to say thank you for food that you've given to us tonight. For these who have been our hosts, we thank you for them. But Father, we also realize that the weather is not great tonight. And so we pray that as we depart this place later, that you'll give each one of us traveling safety, those who are near and those who have to go afar. But Father, for all this, we just want you to be honored. We thank you for all your blessings, and we do so in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate that. I want to encourage you, if you haven't noticed the piece of paper at your table, if you turn, one side is the ad that was in the Democrat-Gazette today. If you look on the other side, that is the number of coaches and players that we have honored here, the Touchdown Club Annual Awards Banquet in the last 14 years. Rex's son, Evan, counted them all up for us because I hadn't done it in a while. That's almost 350 players and coaches we've done in just 14 years. So we are honored to have another great class tonight. I want to encourage you to put your phone on mute. But if you want to right now, if you've got a grandma or an uncle or a coach somewhere out of state, in China, in Hawaii, down the road in Pine Bluff that wants to watch tonight, they can watch it live online at lrtouchdown.com. Little Rock Touchdown Club Facebook page, or you can also go to the Touchdown Club app on your phone, which is provided by Farm Bureau of Pulaski County. So if you got somebody who wants to watch, please let them know. Text them real quick and say, hey, go to one of these three places, and then mute your phone if you don't mind. We couldn't do what we do tonight if we didn't have great sponsors. I do want to thank, first of all, before I do anything, all you parents that are here. We're going to acknowledge you formally at some point. All the coaches that are here. I know there's some sports information directors here. Jerry Scott from Arkansas State, Patrick Pearson, he came all the way down from Fayetteville, brought the Razorbacks down. He's going to have to drive back tonight. So many people sacrificed to be here, and we're honored that you're here. We couldn't do this without you buying tickets and without our sponsors. So if you'll just give me a couple of minutes, I want to thank our sponsors, because if you look at the trophies that we give away, those are thousands and thousands of dollars. Those footballs, we give away almost $4,000 in custom-made footballs. So this is not, and a lot of these meals are comp for honorees and their families. So allow me just to thank our sponsors. First, we start with Twin City Limousines. They pick up all of our honorees and all of our speakers throughout the year. Owner Greg Hatcher has been fantastic. Hatcher Agency, he's been a great supporter of this Touchdown Club for so long. Greg, thank you so much for your support. We really appreciate it. It's been great to honor Lane so often as our player of the week. We're going to miss him after all these years of watching him excel. Thank you to him, Dale Bennett, and Popeye for doing a great job and always taking care of our speakers and honorees. The Little Rock Convention and Visitor Bureau, we are proud to be called the Little Rock Touchdown Club. Thank you to them. CJRW, Mark Raines, Dan Sawyer, Darren Gray, we appreciate your support. They help us with the Cliff Harris Award promotion every year. They're one of the best agencies in the South. 103.7 The Buzz, where I work every morning. We appreciate their support. We broadcast live from every Touchdown Club meeting on Mondays. Thank you to GM Steve Johnson, my buddies in the morning, Tommy, Roger, RJ, and Justin and Pat, who do the midday show. I know Eric Sullivan's here tonight as well, so we appreciate all the Buzz's support. Arkansas Urology, Arkansas's largest urology practice, 8 locations, 17 physicians. We're so thankful to have them on board this year as a sponsor. War Memorial Stadium for our second year. Rex, great to have the great stadium with us as a sponsor, and the Arkansas Parks and Tourism Department have done such a great job with the stadium. Farm Bureau of Pulaski County, Todd Dennis, thanks so much. Stephen Riker for being a supporter of this club for several years now. Thank you, Todd, so much. Thank you, Stephen, for your support. If you got any insurance needs, those guys are great. Please go to them. The Michael C. Erie family. Michael is an old teammate of mine over here, and he's great friends with Dan Hampton, and he sponsors personally the Dan Hampton Award. He pays for the trophy. Now, we have a video from Dan Hampton, and he'll acknowledge Mike. But Mike and Deanne, thank you so much for your sponsorship. We couldn't do it without the family of Mike Erie. Thank you so much. Next, Dairy Queen of Arkansas, Blake Lively, Nelson Lively, Todd Denton. It's one of the fastest growing Dairy Queens in America right here in Arkansas. We appreciate their support. Genwealth Financial Advisors, John Shrewsbury, Janet Walker, Scott Inman. Glad to have them on here the first year. I've had a little meeting with them recently. They gave us some financial advice for me and my mom. Thanks to them. The Big Red Stores, in their 20th year, one of the great convenience stores in Arkansas. The Hendricks family, we appreciate them being a supporter of the Touchdown Club. Good people and great stores. Crane Automotive, the Crane family, Larry Crane Sr., sons Larry Crane Jr. and Chris Crane and Drew Dees. Guys, we couldn't have Marcus Allen here tonight if not for some extra effort by the Crane family, and we appreciate you guys getting him. You didn't drive him here with one of your vehicles, but we know that you went extra mile to make sure he got here, so make sure Larry Sr. knows we appreciate him. They're the #1 automobile dealer in the state of Arkansas. Thank you to the Crane family, and thank you so much for supporting the Touchdown Club. I think we've got a little bit of pop in the do we? We're working on it. That's right. So we're going to get out there, and I'll let Matt knows that Basil's getting ready to say something. I also want to thank the Democrat-Gazette. They've been a sponsor with us since year one. Wally Hall, who is a board founder, supports this club so much, and Amanda Copley, the Democrat-Gazette staff. Jeremy Muck helps select some of our honorees from the high school level. And Amanda, why don't you come up and just say a quick word, and let's thank the Democrat-Gazette for being a sponsor since day one with the Little Rock Touchdown Club.
Thank you, David. Each week throughout the football season, the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette has singled out a player of the week that we have recognized here at the Little Rock Touchdown Club for an outstanding performance. Many of these high school players of the year who are with us tonight have also been selected for our All-Arkansas Preps team. They will be honored at our All-Arkansas Preps Banquet, June 16th, along with more than 400 of their fellow athletes who have been selected from across the state as the best in now 12 different sports, including, of course, football. We look forward to honoring them again this summer, and we are excited to make history by announcing our 2018 All-Arkansas Prep speaker will be the greatest female athlete of all time, Jackie Joyner Kersey. So on behalf of the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette, I'm excited to continue our ongoing partnership with the Touchdown Club and its end-of-the-year banquet. We are honored to have the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette High School Players and Coaches of the Year recognized here tonight. We are extremely proud of these individuals and their accomplishments this season. Congratulations to all of you.
Thanks, Amanda. Yeah, they've had some great folks come in for that All-Arkansas Press Banquet. Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, baseball player. Cal Ripken, yeah. Sorry, CTE, Marcus, come on. They're talking about me, not you. Sometimes I forget. I pay more attention to football. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate that. Also now in their 5th year, sponsor of the Cliff Harris Award is Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings, a full-service law firm and my personal law firm. Those of you at Touchdown Club know how much I respect and appreciate what Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings has done for me personally in a legal matter I've had for the last 3 years. And led by Judy Henry, she's been outstanding. And if it weren't for Judy and her group at Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings stepping up, we wouldn't have a Cliff Harris Award. And this is the 5th year, and it's an amazing award. Wait till you get to meet our winner today, Michael Joseph, an outstanding young man who is from Division III, and he's getting ready to have a shot in the pros. It's a great story, just like Cliff Harris. But if you would, please welcome to the podium Judy Henry, Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings.
Thank you, David. Travel with me for just a minute back to Hot Springs, Arkansas in the early 1960s. There was a 110-pound 9th grader who walked onto the turf for the very first time, and it didn't end up very well. He ended up with his face in the grass, his head spinning, and with the opposing fullback blazing toward the goal line. And what did he say? He said, "I'll get him next time." It's with that grit and perseverance that Cliff Harris made an outstanding back at both OBU and for the Dallas Cowboys in signing a free agent contract. Cliff, it's that spirit and that perseverance that we honor tonight with the award that we're giving in your honor. Perhaps you said it best in your book, and if you haven't read this, it's a must-read for a football fan. It's Captain Crash and the Dallas Cowboys, and this is what Cliff says about those qualities. Everyone is gifted in some way. The success in athletics and in life start first with the God-given ability. In the early years in athletics, there's not much difference between the best and the worst. In time, as natural growth and development occur, the gap dramatically widens. To reach the level of pros, natural gifts are a must. The difference between the top performers, though, lies in the heart of the man. Well, tonight we celebrate Cliff's legacy, and we also celebrate and recognize the same spark in our winner, Michael Joseph, of the Cliff Harris Award. You've made a name for yourself in your college and also in this recognition of winning the Cliff Harris Award. But what I admire most is that he graduated in December with a sports marketing degree. With what I call high character. I think you get an A+ in my game book for that. All I can say is keep on keeping on and keep grounded while you're doing it. We welcome the opportunity to support the Cliff Harris Award and to sponsor it for the 5th year. I want you to know how proud we are at Wright, Lindsay, and Jennings to support not only this award but the Little Rock Touchdown Club. We're honored to sponsor it along with other prominent businesses like the Arkansas Democrat-Gazette and Simmons Bank and Crane and all the rest of you. Thank you. Thank you to David for a tireless effort that he puts in all summer long, all spring, getting our speakers, lining us up, working in our programs all fall, and for the annual banquet. And thank you to Debbie Wyman for your outstanding, extraordinary effort for the Touchdown Club. We thank you. I want to thank you. You deserve that. I also want to thank the fans who show up every Monday with buying tickets and supporting the club on our Monday meetings, because that really does propel us to be able to have opportunities like this to honor students, to honor athletes, to honor coaches, and to bring in good speakers to talk with us. So I thank you all for sponsoring what I consider to be the #1 touchdown club in America by being here tonight. And thank you to our special guest, Marcus Allen. I think you see in us a little bit of a jewel, and we do appreciate you celebrating and honoring our athletes tonight. Thank you.
Thanks, Judy. Judy mentioned Simmons Bank, who was our presenting sponsor. When Simmons took over our sponsorship a few years ago, following Metropolitan Bank, they raised the level of their giving and took us to another level as far as touchdown clubs. And Marcus, I would like to put our touchdown club against a lot of the others across America. We're a small market, but because of sponsors like Simmons Bank, and I was telling Marcus, I said, did you know that in 2013 they had $3 billion in assets? Today, Simmons Bank now has $15 billion in assets. That's in just 5 years, and we're so proud that that's an Arkansas bank. Talking with Adam Mitchell, who's here with Chris White today representing Simmons Bank, one of the things that Adam said is that, listen, we love that we're growing, just bought some new banks in Fort Worth and Dallas and Oklahoma City, but Little Rock and Arkansas is #1 still, and that's a focus in taking care of their customers. So thank you guys for the work you're doing. We're so excited for your growth. Marcus said, is that bank publicly traded? That's what you better believe it is. So with that kind of growth, but thank you so much. I know George Macris couldn't be here today, and I know Willie, I know you're proud of Simmons Bank and to be from Pine Bluff, and thank you to Adam and Chris for your sponsorship. Let's give a big round of applause for all of our sponsors, if you don't mind, real quick. Couldn't do it without them. Real briefly, I want to make sure and acknowledge our Touchdown Club team. Matt Johnson, local Fidelity 6, who's handling all of our AV, does it every week for 14 weeks. He's got Mason Woolbright assisting him tonight and does a great job. Thank you. Doing all of our live stream on Facebook and our website as well. Do want to thank Dwayne Duncan, who has taken photographs for us for 6, 7, 8 years. Dwayne does such a great job. Parents, all the photos that were taken in the reception, they'll be on Facebook within a few days, and we'll try to get a few afterwards if your son or if you had not had a chance to get a picture. But thank you, Dwayne, for your help. And Nelson Chenault, one of the great photographers nationally, is here tonight. We appreciate Nelson teaming up with Dwayne. Meredith Scott is handling our social media. It's at LR Touchdown Club is our Twitter account. At LR Touchdown Club. We also have Instagram and Facebook. We appreciate the help there. Todd Pierce and Jeremy Muck have helped us both all year with the Touchdown Club. We appreciate them. I do want to, at this time, all the ladies and gentlemen who every week check people in, set up the room, please stand. All the volunteers who do this for free every week, couldn't do it without you. Please stand, everybody. Come on. Come on, guys, ladies. We got a great group of guys, great group of ladies that do it for free, and we couldn't do it without our executive director. She's the best in the country. Please get up for Debbie Wyman. She does such a great job. Thank you, Debbie. And if you're a founding member of the Touchdown Club, a founding member or a board member, will you please stand at this time? And if the audience, if we could, let's recognize and give a round of applause to our board members or a founding member of the Touchdown Club. Please stand. Got a few. I did want to mention real quick that is if we didn't do enough awards as it is, Marcus, we have the Small College Defensive Player of the Year in the Cliff Harris Award. We have now added one more award. We may not do it with this banquet, I don't know, but we have added the Harlan Hill Award. The Harlan Hill Award is the Heisman of Small College Division II. Been around 32 years. I think the folks in Florence, Alabama are probably watching us online right now. Harlan Hill was a great player for the Chicago Bears, played at NAIA, North Alabama, and they have one son. His name was Jerry, and Jerry was telling stories about how his dad, Harlan Hill, used to play pool and play football with Elvis behind Graceland back when he was young. So we look forward to adding that. So we've got the defense, Michael, covered with the Cliff Harris Award, and the offense covered with the Harlan Hill Award. So that's coming up next year. But it's time to get underway with our awards tonight. And as we've done the last few years, actually I think this is year number 5 for the Sully Award. The Sully Award goes to the top play broadcast in high school and college football here in Arkansas. And where's my man Steve Sullivan? Where's Sully at? Let's give it up for Steve Sullivan at KTV Channel 7. Nobody does it better than Steve Sullivan when it comes to calling a play call or whatever, and so this award is in honor of him. And we're going to start off with 3 straight play calls. Sam Strachner, Arkansas Tech, Phil Elson, R.J. Hawk Henderson, and Billy Morgan from Harding. Matt, if we'll run those 3 plays back to back to back, just take about a minute and a half, and I'll announce the winner for our Sully Award for college here in Arkansas.
Braden Stringer makes the catch at his own 8-yard line, looks for running room, gets by 1 man, gets by 2 men, gets by 3 men. 25-30, 35-40. Braden Stringer at midfield. Braden Stringer all the way. Nobody will catch him, and it's the second long sprint of the 3rd quarter. Somebody get that man an oxygen tank. A minute 35 to go in the 3rd quarter, and the Wonder Boys lead it 44-0.
2:20 to play and counting. Reddy's trailing by 2.
And just remember, you only have to get in field goal range to win the game. You don't need a touchdown.
The snap on 2nd and 10. He dumps it off. Ben Johnson with the catch and room to run. 25-20 upfield to the 15 to the 10 to the 5. Touchdown Reddy's! A 30-yard touchdown pass play from Evan Lassiter to Ben Johnson. And with 2 minutes and 3 seconds on the 4th quarter clock, the Reddies have taken the lead against Southern Arkansas.
From the 10s where they'll place it down, John Kane will snap it. Cole Blickenstaff will place it down. And Tristan Parsley will try and hit a 20-yard field goal. Now the snap, placement down, the kick is up. The kick is good! No time left, it's over! And the Bisons have won it, 16-14. The Bisons advance on, and what a celebration down on the field. And the Bisons will advance on to the Final Four. Tristan Parsley walks it off, and the Bisons win it in Big Rapids, Michigan today.
That, as you can see, let's give a round of applause for all of our college entries. Rex Nelson, the voice of OBU, knows. So you do the broadcast by yourself, but when you have a color man, sometimes you hear the color man sort of step on your stuff, and that's what was happening on that last call for Harding, and that is our winner, actually.
45-40. Cody's going to
College Division, Billy Morgan of Harding University. Let's give a round of applause for Billy.
That's ridiculous. No flag. Touchdown, Fayetteville.
All three of our college guys tonight, Billy Morgan, Phil Elson, and Sam Stracer, all are calling college women's basketball tonight, so they couldn't be here. So we'll make sure that Billy gets this trophy, but congratulations. Also, high school tonight, Billy Duvall, where's Billy? And then Mark Oliver and Tracy Simpson. Where are you guys at? Come on up here real quick. Come up here. Where are you at? Let's give a round of applause for Mark Oliver and Tracy Simpson from Fountain Lake and Billy Duvall from Russellville. Come on up here, guys. Let's go ahead and play the first call. This is Josh Perticini from Fayetteville. This guy's smooth as silk. Listen to this call. Listen to some of the words he says in his description.
To the house. Second and the punt. Cody Gray looking for the catch at his own 35. Going to tuck and run. Now twirly whirly back to the right. And I don't know where Cody is going here. Run himself into big trouble. Going to try to go right. Now actually does turn the edge to the 40, the 42, the 45. He's still going. 45-40. Cody's going to take it all the way to the 25-20, 10-5. That's ridiculous.
No flag.
Touchdown, Fayetteville. Cody Gray looks like he was running the wrong way because he was. And then he whirls around and he takes it to the house.
One of the smoothest guys around. Next we have Billy. Where's Billy at? Where are you at, Billy? I mean, what did I say? I'm sorry, Mickey. Something's the matter with my mind. Yes, Mickey Duvall. Yeah, I said Billy Morgan. Mickey's a past winner. Let's hear Mickey's call from Russellville High School.
Second down and goal from the 7-yard line. Two receivers to each side. Moving a man in motion. That's Riley Johnson. Behind the quarterback he goes. They're going to throw to the corner of the end zone for Marquise Peter. And it is complete. Touchdown. Touchdown. The Cyclones have won the game. Holy cow. The Cyclones on the field. Mobbing Marquise Peter back at the 40-yard line. He was high-stepping his way to the 40. And the Cyclones win it in overtime over the Razorbacks 23-20.
Very nice, Mickey. Very round of applause for Mickey Duvall from Russellville, past winner. And our first ever entry for Mark Oliver, and he's the play-by-play man, and Tracy Simpson is the color man for Fountain Lake. Let's hear this call.
On fourth down, the Cobras need it to stay alive. High snap. Turner throws the ball for the end zone. Quadruple coverage. Perrion comes on. Touchdown! Touchdown! Perrion Johnson makes an amazing play.
Holy cow!
And the Cobras take the lead.
Holy cow, are you kidding me?
And then they recover.
You gotta be kidding me! Perrion Johnson does the unthinkable. A 34-yard score.
Oh, 29-28. Fountain Lake, and I'm telling you what, it has completely silenced the crowd.
Onside kick, bounces up. Cobras got it! Simpson's got it! The Cobras have the football!
Colson Simpson coming up big. Are you kidding me?
All right, I think the emotion award without question. This year's winner, Mark Oliver and Tracy Simpson, Fountain Lake. These guys give so much of their time to high school sports and calling not only football but basketball and other sports, and we appreciate them, and it's nice to be able to honor them with the Sully Award, and Sully, I know you're proud of them as well. We also want to recognize our National Football Foundation Scholar Athlete of the Year. The Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame will give each of these guys $500 scholarships. 2A, Khalil Johnson, Clarendon. 3A, Christian Evans, Elkins. 6A, Caleb Clark, West Memphis. 7A, Matthew Skirto, Harbor. And our winner this year is Isaiah Woods from Pulaski Academy. He will receive a $1,000 scholarship. He is here tonight. Isaiah, stand for just a minute from where you're at. So let's give him a round of applause. Isaiah is a senior at Pulaski Academy, has a grade point average of 3.22, played defensive end, defensive tackle, running back for PA. He also made all-conference his sophomore, junior, and senior year. Also plays basketball, a member of FCA, Science and Engineering Club, and Spanish Club. His community services include volunteering for the Food Bank, Special Olympics, and cancer research fundraising. This is what Coach Kevin Kelly said. Isaiah is one of the best kids I've ever coached. He makes a coach want to come to work every day and simply makes the world a better better place. We need more people like Isaiah. Now, Isaiah gets a $1,000 scholarship when he goes to college, and he'll be nominated and eligible for the National Football Foundation's National Scholar of the Year. So one more round of applause for Isaiah and his great job. And let's please give a round of applause to Terry Condor Johnson, who executes this program every year. Thank you for what you do. Let's give it up first. She's Executive Director of the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame. Thank you, Terry. All right, now it's time to meet both our most valuable players from all of our colleges, our players of the year from high school, and our coaches as well. And if you've come to a Touchdown Club meeting, nobody recaps the weekend in football like our man. He's the voice of OBU. He's the vice president of our Touchdown Club. He's so valuable. He's one of the most interesting men in the world. He's right here in Arkansas. Give it up for Rex Nelson, everybody.
Thanks, David. And thank all of you for being here on a bad weather night. You know, at the Little Rock Touchdown Club, we love high school football. We honor a high school athlete every week. This is not just a college football club. When we say a Touchdown Club, we mean it. We love high school football, and we keep up with high school football here. I have the pleasure of doing a scoreboard show and talking to guys like Mickey every Friday night. The bad thing about that, David, is that I'm in a studio every Friday night, so I typically try to get out at the end of the year and see all 6 state championship games, and I was at all 6 this year. Coaches, congratulations to you. But, you know, we've got big names on the front row, but we got big names on the back row, too. I mean, Rick Jones, Kevin Kelly, those kind of guys, those are big names. Like I said, we love high school football. So what I will ask is that you hold your applause till the end, but we're going to have introductions of each of our players from each of the 6 classifications, each of our coaches, and players, when you hear your name called, will you stand during the time that your stats are being listed? So with that, our high school players and coaches of the year for the 2017 season.
It's now time for our high school players and coaches of the year. 2A player of the year, Foreman junior quarterback, Kyron Beatty. This Gators coming out party came in the biggest game of 2017. The dual threat star accounted for 247 yards and 2 touchdowns in Foreman's Class 2A state championship victory over Mount Ida. He finished with 2,043 yards and 34 touchdowns for the Gators in his first season at quarterback. Your 2A player of the year, Kyron Beatty. 2A Coach of the Year, Mark King, Foreman. When this coach arrived in Foreman from Horatio in 2016, he had a vision for the Gators program. That vision was to win a state championship. Foreman got it done in just his second season, defeating 7 2A conference rival Mount Ida 24-21. Your Class 2A Coach of the Year, Mark King. Class 3A Player of the Year, Mayflower Junior running back Deion Simmons. This Mayflower Eagle knew the end zone well in 2017. The junior scored a whopping 40 rushing touchdowns and was the state's leading rusher with 2,562 yards. Led by this 5'6" speedster, Mayflower captured the 2 3A conference championship. Your Class 3A Player of the Year, Deion Simmons. Class 3A Coach of the Year, Kelly Chandler, Rivercrest. If there's 2 things the Rivercrest Colts pride themselves on, it's hard work and tough defenses. With Coach Chandler at the helm, those traits will always be in place. The Colts took down previously undefeated Junction City 48-14 in the Class 3A state championship. It was Rivercrest's 3rd state title and first since 2010. Your Class 3A Coach of the Year, Kelly Chandler. Class 4A Player of the Year, Warren Junior wide receiver Traylon Burks. What a unique season of production for this Warren Lumberjack. 27 rushing touchdowns, 11 receiving touchdowns, 1 kickoff return, and 3 punt returns for scores. Whether he lined up at wide receiver, running back, quarterback, kick, or punt returner, or on defense, opposing teams across the state had no answer to stop him. With 1 more season to play, he will be one of the top recruits in the South. Your Class 4A Player of the Year, Traylon Burks. 4A Coach of the Year, J.R. Eldridge, Arkadelphia. Arkadelphia had not won a state championship since 1987 with the late John Outlaw as head coach. The 2017 Badgers, with Eldridge leading the way, became the third team in program history to win a state title. With a stingy defense and some key offensive stars, Arkadelphia defeated Warren in the Class 4A state championship game 28-27. Your Class 4A Coach of the Year, J.R. Eldridge. Class 5A Player of the Year, Pulaski Academy senior quarterback Lane Hatcher. Pulaski Academy has had its share of great quarterback play. Lane Hatcher made his mark, and his senior season may have been the best yet, with 5,779 yards and 66 touchdowns. He finished his 3-year starting quarterback run with a record of 41-1 and 3 state championships. He also became the state's all-time record holder in passing yards with a remarkable 15,483 yards and a staggering 185 touchdown passes. Your Class 5A Player of the Year, Lane Hatcher. Class 5A Coach of the Year, Kevin Kelly, Pulaski Academy. 2 coaches in the past 40 years can say that they've led their school to 4 consecutive state championships. Barton's Frank McClellan and Pulaski Academy's Kevin Kelly. Kelly guided the Bruins to a 14-0 record in their 4th Class 5A title in a row with a comeback 37-36 victory over Little Rock McClellan. It was Kelly's 7th state championship since taking over as Pulaski Academy head coach in 2003. Your 5A Coach of the Year, Pulaski Academy's Kevin Kelly. Class 6A Player of the Year, Greenwood senior quarterback Connor Nolan. In his final season at Greenwood, this dual-threat signal caller lifted the Bulldogs to glory again. The senior quarterback accounted for more than 3,000 yards offensively and 39 touchdowns, including 34 through the air. He's signed to play football and baseball at the University of Arkansas. Your Class 6A Player of the Year, Greenwood quarterback Connor Nolan. Class 6A Coach of the Year, Rick Jones, Greenwood. The Greenwood Bulldogs had not won a state championship since 2012, but this veteran coach wasn't going to allow his 2017 team to be denied a state championship. Under this Harding University graduate, the Bulldogs went 13-0 with a 6A West Conference championship and a commanding 52-14 victory over Pine Bluff in the 6A state championship game. Your Class 6A Coach of the Year, Rick Jones. Class 7A Player of the Year, Conway senior running back Michael George. He's 5'8", but size doesn't matter when you look at how he plays in the field. This bowling ball of a back rushed for 2,396 yards and 28 touchdowns, leading Conway to the Class 7A semifinals. He was also a first-team Arkansas Democrat-Gazette All-Arkansas Preps performer. Your Class 7A Player of the Year, Conway running back Michael George. Class 7A Coach of the Year, Jamie Mitchell, North Little Rock. Central Arkansas was starving for a Class 7A state championship. Jamie Mitchell and North Little Rock delivered. The Charging Wildcats won the 7A state championship with a wild 44-37 victory over Bentonville, and in the past 2 years, they've recorded a 25-1 record, including their 13-0 performance this year. Your Class 7A Coach of the Year, Jamie Mitchell, North Little Rock. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause for your high school players and coaches of the year.
Let's have a big applause for all 12 of these honorees. Congratulations, guys. Now to our college honorees. Like I said, we honor people from every school. In Arkansas, we had a lot of good college football played in 2017. You may not realize, but we have 13 programs now in the state of Arkansas. We have 2 FBS programs. One of those played in a bowl game. We have 2 FCS programs. One of those played in the playoffs. We have 6 Division II programs. 2 of those 6 played in the national playoffs. We have one of our newest schools, Hendricks, playing at the Division III level. We have our newest football program, Lyon College, playing at the NAIA level, and we have Arkansas Baptist College playing junior college football. So 13 schools in which we honor a most valuable player. Cody Michael of Henderson State University and Raheem Brummett of Arkansas Baptist College were unable to be with us tonight. We will get their footballs to them. But now here are our other honorees from colleges across the state of Arkansas, our most valuable players for the year 2017.
Team MVP for Arkansas, Santos Ramirez. This Razorback junior safety and team captain enjoyed a solid campaign in 2017, finishing with 63 tackles, including 2 tackles for loss, along with 8 pass breakups, 3 forced fumbles, and an interception. New Hog head coach Chad Morris will be leaning on this Louisiana native to be the leader for the new Hammer Down Hogs in 2018. Arkansas MVP, Santos Ramirez. Team MVP for Arkansas State, Javon Jones. This defensive stalwart for the Red Wolves enjoyed another stellar season. The senior defensive end was second in the nation in sacks with 13 and had 56 tackles, including 19 for loss. He was named the Sun Belt Conference Most Valuable Player of the Year for the 2nd consecutive year and became the #2 all-time sack leader in college football history. Arkansas State MVP, Javon Jones. Team MVP for Central Arkansas, Hayden Hildebrand. The Bears won the Southland Conference title, and this Louisiana signal caller was a big reason why. The senior passed for more than 3,100 yards and 29 touchdowns for the Bears as they reached the FCS playoffs. UCA MVP, Hayden Hildebrand. Team MVP for UAPB, Tashad Charity. This senior defensive lineman was by far the most dominant player for the Golden Lions. The Virginia native recorded 51 tackles, including 12 for a loss, and 6 sacks in his final season in Pine Bluff. UAPB MVP, Tashad Charity. Team MVP for Ouachita Baptist, Drew Harris. This Tigers wide receiver was all over the field in 2017. The former Benton Star was a key part of OBU's 2017 Great American Conference Championship team. He accounted for 28 touchdowns, including 20 rushing, 6 receiving, and 1 passing. Ouachita Baptist MVP, Drew Harris. Team MVP for Lyon College, Jonathan Hendricks. In his final season with the Scots, this Batesville native caught 29 passes for 487 yards and 2 touchdowns. For his efforts, he was a first-team Central States Football League selection. Lyon MVP, Jonathan Hendricks. Team MVP for Harding, Gavin De Los Santos. An All-American selection, this Bison's offensive lineman helped a Harding offense rush for an impressive 342 yards per game. The former Lake Hamilton star started 15 games at right tackle for Harding, which advanced to the NCAA Division II semifinals in 2017. Harding MVP, Gavin De Los Santos. Team MVP for Arkansas Monticello, Jalen Tolliver. Named Great American Conference Offensive Player of the Year in 2017, this Bo Weevil wide receiver caught 16 touchdowns and finished with 1,109 receiving yards. He also averaged 6 receptions and 100 receiving yards per game. Arkansas Monticello MVP, Jalen Tolliver. Team MVP for Southern Arkansas, Devondrick Lizen. This mule rider is considered one of the most athletic defensive linemen in the country. Only a junior, the McGee native had 7.5 sacks and 16.5 tackles for loss. He finished with 53 tackles and was named Great American Conference Defensive Player of the Year. Southern Arkansas MVP, Devondrick Lizen. Team MVP for Arkansas Tech, Braden Stringer. There wasn't a more dangerous return man in the Great American Conference than this Wonder Boy. The senior from Oklahoma returned 2 punts for touchdowns and earned first-team All-GAC honors. He also rushed for 9 touchdowns in Arkansas Tech's backfield. Arkansas Tech MVP, Braden Stringer. Team MVP for Hendricks, Miles Thompson. The Warriors' offense was one of the best in Division III thanks to this sophomore signal caller. The Texas native accounted for more than 3,400 offensive yards and 37 touchdowns. The Southern Athletic Association named him its Offensive Player of the Year for his outstanding campaign. Hendricks MVP, Miles Thompson. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give a round of applause for our college MVPs.
You know, you're probably thinking that wide receiver from UAM doesn't look like he would be that fast. You know, he really, stand up, Coach. He doesn't look like he would catch that many passes. I should have told you that Jalen Tolliver, and he's the real deal, could not be with us, but Coach Nick Sheehan is here tonight representing him. So I thought maybe we needed some explanation there, Coach. Let's give all of them one more hand again. Thanks, everybody.
I have to admit, I'd forgotten that that young man was not going to be here tonight. I was thinking, wow, man, I tell you what, they grow their receivers big. Wow, holy cow. I said, you sure that wasn't offensive lineman we were supposed to honor? What a great group. One more round of applause for all of our MVPs, players of the year, and coaches. Now, players and coaches, if we don't mind, let's turn the tables. If you are a parent, guardian, uncle, granddad, cousin of any of the honorees here tonight, please stand and let's honor you for your raising these fine young men. Please, let's give a round of applause to them.
Wives.
Well, I presume the dads and the moms stood up for that. I'll tell you what then.
Coach's wife.
Yo, is that what you want to do? Okay, that's what I see. Okay, I was getting to that in just a second. Next, besides these coaches up here, if you're a coach, assistant coach, head coach that's not being honored, but you're here to support your player, please stand and let's recognize you for your tremendous effort as a coach. High school and college coaches. These guys are no dummy. These guys are no dummy. If you're a coach's wife here tonight, please stand and let's recognize the coach's wives here tonight. Come on, ladies, come on. Very smart. They are the backbone, I can assure you. It is time to recognize our Dan Hampton Award winners and Willie Roaf Award winners. We'll start with Dan Hampton. He could not be here tonight, sort of his tradition. He always sends us a video. Erie, I don't know what he's doing in Chicago. There was no excuse for snow or anything, but what's that? That's no show. But this award goes to the top high school and college defensive linemen. Does anybody remember who the first winner of the Dan Hampton Award in college was here in Arkansas? He's won a Super Bowl ring, and he made the key play in the Super Bowl last year that helped the Patriots win. Trey Flowers was the winner of the Dan Hampton Award. So if you're a Dan Hampton Award winner, you see the trophy behind us. We will give a trophy to our college winner and a plaque, a giant plaque to our high school winner. But let's hear from the Hall of Fame Chicago Bear defensive end and Razorback All-American from Chicago, Dan Hampton, everybody.
Hello again, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you. This is Dan Hampton, once again to announce the winners of the Dan Hampton Award, the Defensive Lineman of the Year for the great state of Arkansas in both high school and college. I would like to say welcome to the great Marcus Allen. Marcus played for the Raiders for many years. We battled back and forth back in the day. He was a great player. I always thought that, I'd get to meet him one day because he and my old teammate, Richard Dent, used to pal around a lot. And I remember I'd always say, Richard, what are you running around with this Raider kid for, man? What are you doing hanging around a running back from the Raiders, Marcus Allen? And he says, you know him, when I'm hanging out with him and Dickerson, it makes me feel real smart. So I said, I understand. But what was really weird is that when they play golf, they'd always let Richard keep score. Now, figure that one out, right? But at some point, I'm sure Marcus will be very happy that he came to see all of us here in the great state of Arkansas. Okay, without further ado, let's get on with it. The high school defensive lineman of the year is Billy Farrell. Billy comes from Fordyce, Arkansas, the mecca of a lot of great college coaches. Billy, on film, was almost unblockable, but it was like he had more that he wanted to do as far as playing the game, so they put him on offense. I saw a lot of plays where he would run the ball, ball. At 300 pounds, he'd just run over all these kids. It was almost tragic. He was such a violent player. And he's going to go to the University of Arkansas. I'm sure he'll be a great player. He reminds me a lot of Cortez Kennedy, who we all know was a great fellow Hall of Famer from there in eastern Arkansas. So we wish our very best to Billy Farrell, the high school winner of the Dan Hampton Award. By the way, let me just say, Fordyce, I've never been there. I've always wanted to go. As you know, it's the home of Bear Bryant, of Barry Switzer, and Larry Lacewell, some great college football coaches. It was about 20 years ago at a banquet just like you're at tonight that Jerry Jones and Barry Switzer and Larry Lacewell were all there, and they were wanting to go to the bar after the festivities ended, and we went in and they were telling stories. And Barry Switzer and Larry Lacewell both grew up in Fordyce, and they would tell the story that when they were like 13, 14 years old, they would work all week in the fields picking cotton so they could make enough money to buy a bus ticket to go to Little Rock. And I said, what in the hell would you want to go to Little Rock that bad for? And he says, oh, you don't understand, it was hot in hell. But Little Rock was the only place that had a cement swimming pool in the whole state. And so that's what they wanted to do. And then later I found out they had to swim naked. Back in the 50s, you couldn't wear a suit, you had to swim naked. So that's really wanting to go swimming. But those guys were legendary, great Arkansans in the great game of football, and it was great to hear those stories. Okay, now for the college recipient is very little surprise here. Javon Rowland. Javon Rowland broke every sack record in the NC2A that was previously held by Terrell Suggs, coincidentally another ASU, Arizona State. But congratulations to Javon. I think he was a two-time Sun Belt Conference Player of the Year. That in itself is amazing, but when you think about all the guys that played college football, and Javon got to the quarterback more times than any of us ever did, I mean, that in itself is very special. It's all good stuff. So congratulations, Billy. Congratulations, Javon. And a quick shout out to my dear friend, Mike Erie of Carlton Associates down in Hot Springs. They're the fine people that sponsor this award and come up with these beautiful statues each and every year. And we, like I said, we're so proud to be a part of it, and I hope you guys have a great night, and congratulations again, Billy and Javon.
The one and only Dan Hampton. There we go. First, we want to give this this giant plaque. When we do plaques at the Touchdown Club, we make them big enough where when you walk into a room, Darren McFadden won 3 of those. Remember that, Rex, back in the day? I don't know, that was almost took up all the walls in his house. But this is for B.J. Farrell. And B.J., if you can, I know he's got a bad will. I can bring it to you if you want me to. Now, you got to remember, both Dan Hampton and Willie Roaf, these guys look at film. These guys watch the film of the best players in the state of Arkansas. And, B.J., you're too young to realize it, but one of the Hall of Fame defensive linemen compared you to another Hall of Fame lineman, Cortez Kennedy. And watching you on film, B.J., not only was he dominant on the defensive line of the ball, and as Dan said, it was tragic. When they put you at tailback, you were a good running back, man. You're 320 pounds, 6'2", and I think Coach Morris is going to be happy to have him in Fayetteville. Let's give it up for B.J. Farrell. We won't ask our high school guys to talk, but we will with Javon. Javon, come on up here, and we ask our college winners to say a few words. Now, Javon, Dan Hampton left off the last half of your name. I don't know if you picked up on that. It's Javon Rowland Jones. Again, we may have to get Dan evaluated a little bit. But and I think he gave you credit for being the all-time sack leader in college, but he was close. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the #2 sacker in the history of Division I college football. #2 in the history, yeah. So he follows another great defensive lineman, Chris Odom, who won this award last year. And if you could, go back there and pick up that trophy. Don't strain your back. It's one less thing that I had to pick up. We do trophies big here at the Touchdown Club. Javon, let's give it up. Let's hear from Javon Roland Jones.
I'm not very good at speeches, but I just want to thank the man above. You know, without him, I wouldn't be playing football. I want to thank the Jonesboro community, all my coaches at Arkansas State. Coach Early, you know, he worked with me day in and day out. Coach Joyner, you know, his GA. I want to thank my parents. You know, they're my biggest support system. Excuse me, my heart beating fast up here, my agenda wrestling. But I just want to thank my parents. You know, they've been with me since day one, you know, through all the injuries. I want to thank, you know, the Dallas-Fort Worth area, Mesquite, Texas. You know, that's where I played high school ball at. I just want to thank them, too, and my little league coach, Coach Lloyd. And it's just an honor to be up here and win something like this. You know, I knew I would have a good college career, but I didn't think I would have a great one like I had. And I just want to thank everybody who's been supporting me. And just thank everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. And we move on to the Willie Roaf Award. You know, you heard David earlier in the meeting. Those of you that were here last year remember well Dr. Clifton Roaf's speech at this club. Cliff Roaf was one of the most inspiring men I've ever met. I got to know him better in the years that I worked for Simmons Bank. No one ever loved Pine Bluff, Arkansas more than Cliff Roaf. And really, nobody ever loved Arkansas more. Willie, your dad was a blessing, but I wrote a column after Dr. Roaf passed away in the fall about the whole Roaf family because it was an amazing family. Dr. Roaf was just one part of that amazing family. Willie's late mother, the late Andre Layton Roaf, became the first black woman to serve on the Arkansas Supreme Court when she was appointed by Governor Jim Guy Tucker to succeed retiring Justice Steele Hayes back in 1995. She wasn't eligible to run for a full term on the high court, but then she was appointed by Governor Mike Huckabee to the Arkansas Court of Appeals. She served for almost a decade on that court, a great jurist in our state. Willie Roaf, of course, inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 2012, the College Football Hall of Fame in 2014. You know, Willie has often told reporters through the years, and I can guarantee you this is the truth, that his mother would have far preferred that he become a doctor or an attorney rather than a football player. He was attracting so little interest from college recruiters as a football player at Pine Bluff High School that he actually considered switching to basketball. Can you imagine him setting a pick down low? Finally, though, Willie did decide to play football at Louisiana Tech University. He was 6'4", 220 pounds when he went to Tech. That's small for a Division I college offensive lineman these days. By his sophomore season, he was 6'5", 300 pounds. Tech would play Alabama. They would play Baylor. They would play South Carolina. They would play Ole Miss. They would play West Virginia. And that allowed professional scouts plenty of opportunities to watch him his senior season. So he was picked in the first round of the 1993 NFL Draft by the New Orleans Saints. He was the 8th selection overall. He was the first offensive lineman to be drafted that year out of Louisiana Tech. He spent 9 years of a 13-year NFL career with the Saints, started 131 games for New Orleans, and helped that franchise to its first playoff win, a 2000 victory over the defending Super Bowl champion St. Louis Rams. A torn ligament in his right knee forced him to miss the second half of the 2001 season. He was then traded to the Kansas City Chiefs, where he made the Pro Bowl in each of his 4 seasons there. In fact, Willie was voted to the Pro Bowl 11 times in his 13 seasons. Get this, he earned a spot on the NFL All-Decade team not only for the 1990s, he was on the All-Decade team also for the 2000s. Please welcome one of the greatest linemen in the history of professional football, a proud product of Pine Bluff, Arkansas, Willie Roaf.
Thank y'all. It was fun playing in Kansas City and watching Marcus on those sidelines. When you see Marcus and when I played with the Saints later, Johnny Unitas on the sideline, that makes you want to play. Play hard. But I know how proud, excuse me, my dad was of this award. And I'm thankful. All my friends and family, my wife, putting up with me for 4 years. You know, I miss talking to him. But Cortez Kennedy, to these young men, went in the hall with me. He passed away last year. Also, Cortez would call and mess with me. And Cortez, for you young men, was a special person. Grew up in Wilson, Arkansas, Rivercrest, and went to Northwest Junior College. I goofed around in school some. That's when my mom was kind of mad at me because I would goof around in college too. But to these young men, Cortez Kennedy was a very special guy. He went to Northwest Junior College. Then he went to the University of Miami and played with Jerome Brown, who was a number 9 pick. Then he played. He got drafted the number 3 pick, and the next year I think Russell Maryland was the number 1 pick in the draft. So they won a national championship in '87 and '89, and I got to know him a lot better after I finished playing football. But you know, Marcus has always been a great guy. And I remember Marcus might not remember, but going back to the Pro Bowl, and my parents stayed at the Hilton Hawaiian Village, and when Marcus went in the Hall of Fame, he was at the hotel, and my dad and mom would see him, and he was always such a class act. But for you young men that are going to continue to play football and try the next level or not, I want you to always look back at the memories of playing ball and how special it is to play the game you love and take it as far as you can and push hard. And to Luke, who's a great guy, I've been talking to him the whole time, and I just want him to keep working hard and do the best he can and take care of his body and make sure you get those academics and put the Lord first. And I will say this. At the end of my dad's life, it was more proud that I had a God-fearing wife than anything I did on that football field. So I want to say, I know Frank can't be. He lost his dad too last year, but Luke's a great guy, and all you young men keep working hard, and thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
What we'll do at this point, we'll first bring our high school recipient up. Evan, if you want to, there he is. You got it right here. Luke Jones is a offensive tackle. Big Willie was going, man, that Luke is pretty big. What are you, 6'7"? Is that what you are, Luke? 6'5". He was close. All right. Luke is going to be attending Notre Dame, and if you've ever watched the offense for Pulaski Academy, he's one of the reasons they put up, I think, 750 points this year. And remember, Luke, same thing. Here's an 11-time Pro Bowler watching you on film, and he chose you as the top offensive lineman in the state. Come on up, and let's give you your plaque. Luke Jones, Pulaski Academy. Next, well, you can go ahead and have a seat. Frank Ragnow wanted to be here tonight. As many of you, as you know, All-American at Arkansas, one of the best centers to play. But Brett Bielema said he was one of the best offensive linemen he ever coached. And he hurt his knee Game 6 and missed the rest of the season. So he is rehabbing up in Minnesota, where he's from. And as Willie said, you know, one of the reasons I wanted Frank to be here, because as Willie said, Frank lost his dad in a very public situation, and just like Willie had. So I'd hope that they can make the connection. But the folks rehabbing Frank said, hey, I want you to stay here. You know, the combine's right around the corner. But I told Frank, I said, if you want to do a video, I want you to do a video. So Frank has sent us a video, and you can tell right off the bat, this is not some fancy studio video. And I want you to notice, I don't know how cold it is in Minnesota. It's probably 0. But I love the simplicity of the Frank Ragnow video. And I want you, it's only about a minute and a half long. I want you to listen to what he has to say. Frank Ragnow.
Hey, it's Frank Ragnow here in Minnesota. Freezing my tail off. But anyways, I just want to say it's such an honor to receive such an award from such a respected football player and a football player who literally dominated the profession in Willie Roaf. Mr. Roaf, I wish I could be there tonight to shake your hand, and thank you so much for choosing me out of everybody else in the state of Arkansas for the best offensive lineman. A Hall of Famer, a Pro Bowler, it's pretty dang cool for you to recognize my game, so I really appreciate that. And the Little Rock Touchdown Club, thank you for having the event. I wish I could be there. I really wish I could be there, but due to my ankle and just trying to rehab and getting ahead of the process and then flying and everything, I just really want to stay on top of everything. But it's just such an honor. I just want to say thank you. I think the whole state of Arkansas knows how I feel about them and how they've treated me throughout my career. And I'm a Razorback for life, and I'm just so thankful that I chose the state of Arkansas to attend the University of Arkansas, and then just the fans and the people. It's just amazing. So I just want to say thank you guys so much for choosing me to win the award.
Frank Ragnow, everybody. What a class act. And I do want to thank Patrick Pearson for his assistance there. We wish him the best. And Willie, he was very honored and hated he couldn't be here. And we'll make sure and ship him that trophy. We'll make sure he's got a big one back here, too. Matter of fact, bring it up here for those who didn't get a chance to see it. This is Big Willie. There we go. And is that not a great trophy? Is that not awesome, Willie? Our next award is the Paul Eells Award, and Sully, probably nobody was closer to Paul Eells than Steve Sullivan. Those of you remember, he was the voice of the Razorback for many years. You'll never meet a guy that had more class and character than Paul Eells. So when Paul passed unexpectedly in a car accident, we decided to honor the Razorback that had the kind of spirit, character, and ability to overcome obstacles in his life, to honor Paul every year. If you look at the back of that sheet, some of the names that have come up here, they've gone through difficult times. And our honoree this year is a guy who did the same, Kevin Richardson. Kevin Richardson was a walk-on at the University of Arkansas out of Jacksonville. This past year as a senior, not only did he start as a walk-on, but not only did he end as a starting defensive back, he was a team captain. That is remarkable, to walk on at a Power 5 school and to become a team captain. Many of you know he missed most of 2016 with an injury, still came back and had an outstanding 2017. And I don't think we could pick a better individual than Kevin Richardson. And plus, he's a Central Arkansas guy. So this time to accept the Paul Eells Award, please welcome Kevin Richardson.
Man, it's an honor. I mean, first off, I want to thank God. You know, without him, I wouldn't be here today. I mean, it means a lot. I mean, especially growing up around here in this Central Arkansas area, and you know, growing up as a young Arkansas boy, most people want to grow up and play for the Razorbacks. I mean, I grew up listening to it. I mean, just like all of you guys did, and you know, that kind of inspires young guys around the state to want to go up there and do those things, and to have my name called and say Kevin Richardson touchdown. That Ole Miss game just meant a whole lot to me. So it means so much to me, to be able to represent this. I hope that I can inspire young guys around the state to follow your dreams no matter what anybody tells you. I mean, I had those people in the back of my head telling me, hey, he's too little, he's not strong enough, he can't play at that level, and I kind of use that as fuel, and look at where I am today. I mean, receiving this award means so much to me, and God's blessed me, and he continues to bless me, and I just I'm so thankful for that. Thank you.
All right, it's time for the Cliff Harris Award. It's such a great honor to have Cliff Harris here. This is the 5th year that we recognize the top small college defensive player of the year. For those of you who don't know about Cliff came from a small school, led Des Arc to a state championship, 11-0 as a quarterback, if I'm not mistaken. If it hadn't been for Rex Nelson's dad asking Buddy Bob Benson to give Cliff an opportunity to play, he may not have had the opportunity. Cliff gets to go to OBU. His one scholarship offer, becomes a standout defensive back, plays every position in the secondary, becomes two-time all-conference, runs track and field, math major, minor in physics. Is that right?
I like 3 hours.
He liked 3 hours in physics. I didn't even realize you were a math and physics major. That's not drafted by anybody, but had an opportunity to try out with the great Gil Brandt, the Cowboys, as a free agent. And in his first year, I love this, as a first year, Cliff Harris, as a free agent, beats out all the guys that were drafted ahead of him. As a first year, he does that. And I love this, his first year, and the young people probably will be amazed by this. The first year Cliff's playing, he plays, 6 games, and then he has to go do his military duty. So he has to leave the Cowboys for 5-6 weeks, comes back, and then just playing in the Super Bowl in his first year in the Dallas Cowboys after having to do his military stint. That's an amazing accomplishment. If you think of Cliff Harris, and we've had Roger Staubach up here, we've had multiple people say that Cliff Harris changed the way the safety position was played. For you young guys, if you watch the videotape of Cliff Harris when he played, he would not last one game in an NFL this year. He would be fined and ejected almost every play that he hit. But that's why there were so many players, so many offenses that feared Cliff. And Cliff was a guy who analyzed everything. He analyzed every quarterback, and he was a smart defensive back. And then you know that every year that Cliff Harris played for the Dallas Cowboys, they were a top 10 defense in the NFL. He was a hitter. He was smart. And this is what's amazing to me. He played in the NFL for 10 seasons, and in those 10 seasons, he played in 5 Super Bowls in those 10 seasons. You know, that's quite remarkable. And if I'm not mistaken, Cliff, there are only 13 players in the history of the NFL that can claim 5 Super Bowls in 10 years. It's a remarkable thing. 2004, he was inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor. Only 21 Cowboys in the history of that franchise are in the Ring of Honor. And one is Cliff Harris. You were on the all-decade team. You mentioned Willie Roaf in the 80s and 90s. Cliff was on the all-decades team of the 70s. And there is no reason, Marcus Allen, I know you would agree, there's no reason this guy should not be in the NFL Hall of Fame. Bottom line, he should be. He's already in the Texas Sports Hall of Fame, the Arkansas Sports Hall of Fame, the NAI Hall of Fame, and the Washington Athletics Hall of Fame. So the only one that's left is the NFL Hall of Fame, and I hope we can get you in, Cliff, soon. Now, Cliff takes this Cliff Harris Award very seriously. Michael Joseph, I just want you to let you know we've got 500 colleges, Division II, Division III, and NAIA that we go through and look at tape and look at the 5,000 potential players. Obviously, some of the guys at this table here play Division II, they play NAIA and Division III. Well, Michael here is our winner. We're going to ask Cliff to come up and say a few words about Michael. We're going to play Michael's video that was put together by Steve Sullivan at Channel 7. We'll let Michael say a few words, and then we'll have Marcus Allen speak. So at this time, let's give a Little Rock Touchdown Club welcome to the one and only Cliff Harris.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's really a pleasure to be here back in Arkansas. I love Arkansas. I'm from Arkansas. I grew up in Arkansas, and to be back home. And we're going to head to Mountain Harbor as soon as this thing is over tonight and tomorrow. Bill Barnes, my buddy that runs Mountain Harbor, is here. He's been over here every year. My Ouachita buddies are here. My football team buddies are here. My wife, she took these notes and let me and wrote these notes for me. She's my beautiful wife. Karen is here tonight. So I'm really happy to be here, and I'm just amazed at all the incredible players that we have on the high school and college, and great players, and to think that Marcus Allen is going to be talking tonight. I'm very fortunate that our careers didn't overlap. And I'm happy with that. So, because he was a great player. I mean, you know, you think about watching the playoffs and the NCAA playoffs and look at those great running backs. Think about Marcus Allen and what he's done in the Hall of Fame and all the things that have been just incredible. I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say, Marcus. It's going to be really interesting. And I really wanted a special thanks to Judy Henry tonight with Wright, Lindsay, and Jenkins for what you said earlier and the support of the award. This award means a lot to me. It's not, as David knows, that we have friendly, I would say, discussions about the winners and the different ways that we look at these players. And, you know, there are 500 small colleges, Division II, Division III, and NAIA, that have, let's say, 5,000 players essentially every year available for pros. You know, it's amazing that I'll bet you, we talk about this, I'll bet you 50 out of those 5,000 don't even get a chance to try out for the NFL. So the perspective that we're using, we've picked great players every year that are players of the year, players of their conference of the year, 2 times players of the year, 3 times All-Americans, and we developed a kind of a system to take that group of players. We had like 140 this year. I mean, it's amazing how many players that you get and how many these kids need and should get more recognition. If you want to look at the D2 and D3 championship playoff games, go to the last page in the sports. You can find it there every year. But this is an award that hopefully will bring more recognition to them. We bring in scouts and agents and different folks in my committee, made up of really a whole bunch of great people, to you know, the Roger Staubachs and Charlie Waters and Leroy Jordans that are on this committee, that we talk about it and discuss it, and then we come up to a final few that we have, and we look at their video. And when we look at their video is what makes a difference, because we can tell from knowing football the way we do, and that we can see some differences in these great players. We've had really wonderful players over these years that have played and picked these guys. This year, and another component is that before we really make a final decision, we talk to the coaches, their coaches, and we find out kind of what kind of guys they are. And this year we've gotten a very, very special, unique young man. The first time we've ever taken from a D3 school, which is the way that it works, and the size is D2, D3, then NAI in terms of size. So this year we've gotten a D3 player we talked to his coach, who couldn't be here tonight because they're snowed in. Imagine that. He tried to make it out of Chicago. He's from Dubuque, Iowa, at the University of Dubuque. So they were snowed in, but we've got the chairman of the board here, I think, from Dubuque. There you go, right back there, Mr. Calabity. Yes, sir. We really appreciate you making it down here with him. You know, he's been a big sponsor for the University of Dubuque. So, we really ground, and we looked at all these videos and looked at and came down, and David and I talked a whole lot. He's a hard guy to talk to, I can tell you. He'll give you about 2 minutes, and then he talks real fast the whole time. So, you know, right? So, But we looked at these videos, and we're going to show in just a minute a video of the young man that won the award, Michael Joseph, tonight, and you're going to see some real athletic ability and an elite athlete from Michael Joseph, and especially what caught my eye is that he reminded me of me. So I hadn't told him that yet. But so he's got a chance, you know. So I think that is this good? A good time? So let's start the video and let's watch the video that we saw that helped us make our decision for Michael Joseph.
Michael Joseph, University of Dubuque. Michael Joseph has the wow factor, a fast, physical defensive back who has incredible ball skills. This is video from Michael's only kickoff return this season. He took it 96 yards for a touchdown. It's no surprise that scouts from 28 NFL teams visited Division III University of Dubuque to get a first-hand look at this three-time first-team all-conference player. And later this month, Michael Joseph will become the first Iowa Conference player in some 60 years to take part in the Senior Bowl. What makes this small school success story almost unbelievable is that Michael Joseph never started a game in high school and didn't get one meaningful rep in his first year of college. A year later, Michael Joseph was an all-conference player. In the past 7 years, Michael Joseph has displayed the same traits that made Cliff Harris great. Michael Joseph is a very determined athlete with a drive to be great. Please welcome the 2017 Cliff Harris Award winner from Division III University of Dubuque, Michael Joseph.
Hey, it's Frank Ragnow here in Minnesota. Freezing my tail off, but anyways, I just want to say it's such an honor to receive such a
Good evening. I apologize ahead of time. I'm feeling a little emotional today. It's starting to hit me. So, first off, I want to thank my Lord, Savior, Jesus Christ. Without him, I wouldn't be here. It's truly an honor to be awarded the 2017 Cliff Harris Award winner by the Little Rock Touchdown Club. Many thanks to you all for providing tonight's award and handling traveling arrangements for me and my family and getting us out here nice and safe. This trophy is truly something special to me and spectacular, and something I'm going to cherish for the rest of my life. Special thanks to also want to shout out my limo driver and Judy for tying my tie. I had to make sure I get that in or else he wouldn't take me home. So. Also like to congratulate the other finalists for the Cliff Harris Award, Marcus Martin, Nathan Shepard, and Darius Price for their outstanding seasons. And I want to thank my sports information director at the University of Dubuque, Paul Meisner, for nominating me for this award. I never thought in a million years that I would even get nominated, let alone win this award. So it's pretty crazy. Many people in my life have instilled in me like a strong work ethic and supported me throughout my football career. I would like to thank the University of Dubuque and my head coach, Stan Zweifel, who wasn't able to make it tonight, who gave me a chance to earn a spot on the football team after telling me my first year that I was too small to play college football. And that following school year, I actually watched the team from the stands as just a student, and I played flag football just to keep busy, you know. And although I did that, it motivated me to try out in the spring, and I actually barely made the team then because Coach Z believed in me and was like, hey, it's some talent there, just need to put a little more weight in them, because I was only about 5'11", 140 pounds soaking wet at the time. So, and although that following fall I never saw the field, just the sideline, it still gave me, Coach Z still gave me all I ever wanted, and it was just an opportunity to play college football. This made me work even harder and sacrifice my summer at home with my family, and for 6 a.m. workouts with my teammates who are now like my lifelong brothers. Doing this helped me propel myself from playing scout team for a whole entire year to a 3-year starter and 3-time first-team all-conference player, and a long list of other accolades that I'm definitely proud of. So I want to thank Coach Z for the opportunity, and to my position coach, Coach Carl Coleman, for believing in me and going with me even though I never even started a high school football game. And he just pushed me to be a better player and making me a better man I am today. Also, I want to thank first my parents, Nicole and Larry Rogers. Sorry. They never gave up on me. They knew. They've been there for my ups and downs when I was a star youth league player. And then 4-year high school backup player. And they may have doubted me and gave up, but they never told me to quit. So I just kept playing. I got a long way to go, so sorry about this. It took me the whole plane ride to write this song. I'm gonna get it out eventually. To my mother, she's my biggest fan, my biggest supporter. She encourages me every day. To Larry, he's technically my stepfather, but he stepped in at a young age at like 23 and took in me and my brother, just like we were his own kids. So I definitely appreciate that. To my older brother Malcolm, he wasn't able to get here, but he definitely motivated me, and he helped me keep working harder and keep going and keep pushing. To my 5-year-old sister Mary, I'm thankful for her, and I was first mad because she was born in March, and I wanted to be the only March kid. And I was the youngest, and so she took away my title as the youngest kid. But I love her for that. She's there for me after game day hugs, and when I get home, I get to pick her up, so that's always pretty fun. And also to my beautiful girlfriend, Shelby. She was there right before my sophomore year. And then she told me from the start, like, Michael, you're going to be a star. You don't got nothing to worry about. So that was always special to me. I always thank her for that, and she's been supportive this whole way. And finally, I want to thank you, Cliff Harris, who the trophy is named after. You set the foundation for small college players improve. We can continue playing the sport we love after college. You've inspired many of us, especially me, and you show me that I can too play football at the next level. And when I'm working out back in San Diego, that's what I think of. Like, hey, Cliff Harris did it. I can do it too. And lastly, I just want to say I'm humbled and proud to go from playing only 6 games total my whole high school career and like just garbage time and registering just 6 total tackles to becoming the 2017 Cliff Harris Award winner. So thank you.
That's outstanding. Hey, good job. Awesome. That's outstanding. Thank you, Michael. That is outstanding. I'm not sure we've ever had a Cliff Harris Award winner give a speech like that. That was great, wasn't it? You know, some of you don't realize this, but our first Cliff Harris Award winner, Pierre Desir, starting cornerback for the Indianapolis Colts this season. Marquis Christian, our winner 2 years ago, is on the the L.A. Rams roster that went to the playoffs this year. So it's not just about making the league. That's not what it's about. But Cliff looks for the elite players. And guys, listen, you guys know, you play against, you guys, D3. And is that not a great story? Doesn't start a game in high school. Is that not remarkable? Doesn't play his freshman year. Becomes an All-American, and just so you know, he said the coach said he was too small, so he got in the weight room, plus God gave him some growth. One of the things that caught the attention of the 28 NFL scouts was when they saw him on film his junior year, decided to come to Dubuque and watch him and time him, and he ran a 4.4. A 4.4 and then maybe a 4.3. Is that what I heard too, or just 4.4? Just 4.4. All right. The other thing I wanted to mention, I know his agent is here, Jonathan. I don't know where you're at, Jonathan. Thanks for making the trip and being here today. I don't know if this is true or not, but somebody told us that you had a signing bonus to sign on with this particular group, and that Michael gave 80% of it to his family and only kept 20% of it for himself. How about that? Is that not outstanding? Just a class guy. So we'll be watching Michael at the Senior Bowl coming up in Mobile at the end of the month, the first D3 defensive guy in years to get a chance, and you'll also be at the NFL Combine as well. So we're going to root you on, and everybody here in Little Rock, the Touchdown Club, and Central Arkansas is going to be rooting you on, as well as Cliff Harris. So we thank the family for being here. You've obviously raised a great young man, and I hope you're proud of that. I did want to make mention, too, I mentioned one of the ways we got Marcus Allen here was the help of the Crane family. I understand Larry Crane Sr. is watching on the video stream, if you can believe that. I think he's in Vegas dealing with some family issues. So, Larry, it's great to have you via video, and thanks for your help in getting Marcus here. What a great, Marcus, you get to follow that talk. Is that not outstanding? You know, we've had some great names coming here. Last year, Archie Manning, Michael Irvin, Lou Holtz, we had Mike Ditka this year. And sometimes you get a feel. You get a feel of what kind of person a person is just by a couple of minutes. Did that with Ditka. I was expecting a certain kind of way with Ditka. Completely blew me away how he was and how accommodating. This guy's the same way. Takes you about 30 seconds to say, hey, man. One of the things I love what he said, I was telling him, hey, we got to do a few more pictures. Got to do this interview. He said, hey, man, I'm good. And I said, I said, not everybody is good with that. And he said, you know what? Then they shouldn't do this. And so let me just say a quick word about Marcus Allen. Right here, gentlemen, everybody's played football. We got one of the greatest safeties to ever play, one of the greatest offensive tackles, and we've got one of the greatest running backs to ever play the game. He can claim a statistic, I'm getting ready to read to you, that nobody else who's ever played the game of football can claim. One of the most decorated football players in the history of the game. Freshman member of the USC Trojans National Championship team, 1978. 1981, unanimous All-American and the Heisman Trophy winner. His college career, 4,064 yards rushing, 46 touchdowns. He averaged 5 yards a carry every time he touched the ball. He had 12 200-yard rushing games. USC retired his jersey, number 33. He was a 10th overall pick in the first round of the 1982 NFL Draft. He was Offensive Rookie of the Year. 2 years later, he rushed for 191 yards and 2 touchdowns in Super Bowl 18 and was named Super Bowl MVP. He was the first player in NFL history, nobody did it before Marcus Allen, to rush for 10,000 yards and receive for 5,000 yards. This is the distinction that Marcus Allen has that nobody else can claim. He's the only player to have won the Heisman Trophy, a college national championship, be named the NFL regular season MVP, win a Super Bowl championship, be named the Super Bowl MVP, and then he told me during the interview he also was named the NFL Comeback Player of the Year. He's been inducted into both the College Football Hall of Fame and the NFL Hall of Fame. What an amazing, amazing football player, and we're great and proud to have him here tonight. Let's give a Little Rock Touchdown Club welcome to Marcus Allen.
Thank you, David. I can't wait to hear what I'm going to say. Who writes Dan Hampton's material, by the way? Anyway. Michael, I'm a March My birthday's in March as well. Just want you to know that. So that's a great month. And Javon, you're a better speaker than you think. All right? And anytime it comes from the heart, it's always right. Remember that. Okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I am so honored to be here. I'm glad that I came. You know, sometimes you come to places and people say, why did he come? I mean, what inspired him to come? And, you know, sometimes God works in mysterious ways. God brings you to places, you know. And I was touched by Willie and his words and his father, the loss of his father. My condolences. And listening to Michael talk about his family, and then seeing the young man that Kevin is, and it's inspiring. I was lucky, guys. I didn't have to look any further than the dining room table for my role model. My dad was there. I mean everywhere. I mean everywhere I went, my father, my mom, they were there. I think they're going to be in June. It'll be their 60th wedding anniversary. So I'm a product of a great family, guys. And I want to commend all the parents that are here, and really the community that has made this investment. But it's not a sacrifice. You guys are actually supposed to be here. When you decided to have these kids, you owe them everything you can do for them because you brought them into this world. So you are doing what you're supposed to do, and it's great to see. It's great to see with the enthusiasm that you're doing your work, that you're doing what you're supposed to do. And listening to you talk about your family and what they mean to you, trust me, that touched me, because my family's great. No man's an island. I did not get here by myself. I was always inspired. I was always pushed and motivated. My dad, when I look back and reflect on his life, his father died when he was young and didn't have a great relationship with his father. And his mother told him to go get your dad, right? He was at the bar hanging out with some friends, and it was about a 1.5 mile walk, and his dad barely said 2 words to him on the walk home. And at that young age, my father said, boy, if I ever have kids, it'll never be like that. So my dad's he's been amazing given his circumstances. And I look back, I've had great support system. I had a community that supported me, and my grandparents as well. But in addition to that, guys, I always had coaches. And I appreciate coaches. But I want to remind you, coaches, great coaches make players do what they don't want to do so they can become what they want to become. I never wanted a coach that could relate to me. I wanted a coach that pushed me, and I had the benefit of having several coaches, John Robinson being one at USC, my running back coach at USC who passed a year ago, John Jackson, was so instrumental. He never accepted anything but the best. I was gaining 200 yards a game. I was the first back to gain 2,000 yards in college, and that wasn't good enough. He pushed me beyond. Well, I think I thought I could go places, but he certainly pushed and pushed and pushed. And I appreciate it so much now. And I look back, and I always had these coaches that said, and if they didn't say it, I knew what they meant. You may not like me every day, but you're going to love me when you leave here. I love when coaches make personal investments. It's more about the X's, not so much rather about the X's and the O's. It's about developing you in every single way that you can become the person and player that you want to become. Coaches, next to the father, you guys are probably the most important person in these young people's lives. I know that's a heavy thing to think about, but it is. You guys impact these lives in ways that most people don't understand. John Robinson was a coach. I mean, he was amazing. Always encouraging, always uplifting, always pushing, always trying to make you a better person, always trying to make you a better player, and always instilling positive things in your mind, nothing negative ever. While at USC, John Robinson, he never mentioned another university ever, but he would always say to us, now remember, we're 18 to 22-year-old kids, and he would always say, if the Rams want to play us, we'll meet them in the parking lot. You name the place and the time, and we'll be there. I mean, imagine those powerful words. I had a coach named Ray Wilsey, guys, and by trade, he wasn't a running back coach. When I got to the Raiders, now naturally, as a young man, you'd think, whoa, these professional coaches know more than these college coaches, so you want to hang on every single word. You want to endear yourself to the coaching staff, and I was one of those guys. I came in as a rookie. I did not say one word. I just worked. But my coach, I guess recognizing that I could play, liberated me by these very simple words, guys. Coaches rather, he never used the word don't. He always said make sure. He says, Marcus, now you can reverse field, but make sure you know where the line of scrimmage is, you know. Make sure you know down and distance. Make sure you know the situation of the game. Now, I don't make that run in the Super Bowl if I had a coach to say, no, don't do that, don't do that, don't do this. No, but those words liberated me. They freed me to play the game that I love to play. I never looked over my shoulder. Now, I believe that players got to be, I guess there's a healthy defiance that you got to have as a player. You can't, when I get between the lines, I'm playing the game that I know and the way I should, that I believe it should be played, and I'll deal with you later. I said a healthy defiance, not one that's like disruptive, that you'll be called a cancer of the team, not that kind of, but a healthy defiance that you have to have as a player. But I look back and you coaches have just, you're so important in these young men's lives. But I want to challenge you players too. If you work on being a great player, well, let me back up one second. If you work on being a great person with the same enthusiasm you have on being a great player. Work on being a good teammate with the same alacrity you have of being a great player. Work on being a great son with the same passion you have as being a great player. I guarantee you, you will succeed in every aspect of your life. We put a lot of energy in being great athletes. How much energy do we put in being a great person? Those disciplines of trying to be a great person will carry you to prosperous places in your life. Now, I mean, think about this. And I appreciate what you said about me earlier. But they wouldn't invite me if they heard I was a bad person. I wouldn't be up here talking to you guys if, you know, they heard, man, he's a great athlete, but he's a jerk. So you'd be surprised the places that you could go, the platform that this game gives you, the people that you can reach, the lives that you can change, the opportunity to share with people if you work on being a great person. And I've seen people, athletes that, you know, careers did not materialize it the way they wanted them to. But because of the people that they were, because of the persons that they were, they've gravitated towards success. People identify great people. People want to be next to great people. So I challenge you guys. Get your education. Work on being a great person, a great teammate. Work on respecting your coach. Work on respecting your parents. Love your parents. Tell them you love them every single day. Now, guys, I waited 54 years to have my first child. And he mentioned all these accolades, guys. Nothing that I accomplish is more important than that. It pales in comparison. I look at my boy every single day and I say to myself, he did not ask to come. I have to take care of him. I have to provide for him. I have to make sure I'm like a coach, and I gotta make him do things that he doesn't want to do so he can become the person that I want him to become, or the person that he wants to become. You know, sometimes it's tough love. Sometimes it's no. I always feel like you got to have a little conflict in your life. Not necessarily conflict, but you got to be challenged. You can't have everything just perfect in your life. I look back. I don't know if you guys know my story. And you're talking about blessed and lucky. Okay, all right. I'm a defensive back, guys. I don't know if you know this. I got recruited as a defensive back. I go to the University of Southern California, which is Tailback University at that time, and all they have is Charles White. And all the backups behind him got hurt. So you talk about timing. What the hell? John Robinson, you know, asked me to come over. That's how it happened, right? I played sparingly my freshman year. I mean, I made some promising plays, and I got, you know, I think maybe he can play there. But then my second year, John asked me, he says, Marcus, you're not going to play in front of Charlie, but you're too good an athlete to sit on the bench. Would you go play fullback? And I said, sure. Now, fullback, guys, is really suicide. And especially at my size, I was undersized, guys. I mean, I was, you know, I mean, they inflate, you know, your size and stuff to make you look impressive to your opponent and stuff like that. But I was only weighing like 190 or something like that, and I was blocking guys that were 250. And I had to use my, you know, my smarts, you know, and, you know, the game within the game that we have to deal with, you know what I mean? Sometimes I cut them, sometimes I stay up on them. They didn't know what the hell I was going to do, so I always, but the first day of practice, I broke my nose. And blood everywhere. And I'm thinking, well, I'm out of practice. And I walk back, and John Jackson says to me, where you going? Get your butt back in there. So, I mean, from that point on, I learned never leave the huddle. Never leave the huddle. So then, I mean, after a successful, you know, year at fullback where it was great, great challenge because I physically could not stand up every single play to guys that were like, outweigh me by 60 pounds. I just couldn't do it. But I got through it. I mean, I learned a lot about myself. I realized how, and I was always determined. And I was telling Cliff, as even a young man, I watched him. I named half your team, right? Because I studied. I watched the television set. I mean, I was glued to it. I mean, at an early age, guys, I made a decision what side of the television set I wanted to be on. I said, I want to play and not watch. And so I said, Cliff, who I've watched all this time, I mean, I fell off my Tonka toy watching him. Some of you old enough to know what a Tonka toy is. Okay. All right. No, I know. But he's part of the fabric of my success because he inspired me. There's so many people. But then I go and play my junior year, guys, and then I had a really successful year. I gained 1,500 yards, and I really didn't know what I was doing. But for the first time in my career, I heard boos, right? After Charlie, I mean, Charlie was just incredible, and I was just making the tough yards and stuff, and I really didn't, I was just trying to be physically tough, not really sort of thinking about breaking runs and doing things like that. But then I came back my senior year, after experiencing that, I said, I got it. I got it. After a successful spring, I said, I got it. And when I say I got it, I meant there's two types of players or two types of people, generally in life, those who know and those who don't. And the people who know the most go the furthest. I knew everything, Cliff. I knew what everybody was doing at the line of scrimmage on every single play. I knew what the secondary was doing. I knew it was an over, an under, a wide. I knew all that stuff, and I know based on safety alignment what was coming. So I knew what to anticipate. And then I had this incredible year, and I win the Heisman Trophy. But think about it, guys. I went there as a defensive back. Right place, right time. I've never taken that for granted. I always felt like, why me? Out of all these kids, why was I born to great parents? Huh? Why did I have great grandparents that were just awesome? Why did I have siblings that were like supportive, never jealous? Why did I have these, I didn't ask for the great height and physicality and brains and to play this game and heart and passion. I mean, I didn't ask for any of that, but by the grace of God. So I always feel fortunate, and part of my reason, I come here is because I want to share. I want to tell my story because I want to impact somebody else's life because I think you're rich by what you give and you're poor by what you keep. So if I have any knowledge whatsoever that can, further or help or inspire somebody's career, I'm going to do it. And then, again, I just, it's just great to see the families that are here that are supporting these kids. And I know I say you're supposed to, that's your responsibility. Yes, it is. But it's great to see people who do it for the love of their kids and helping them become what they want to become. Because you never know. I don't think my parents, I used to tell my mom that I was going to be somebody, and I think she believed me. They never told me that I couldn't. They always told me that I could. So, the challenge for you parents out there, try not to use the word don't. You're supposed to be smarter. You got to figure out a way to encourage them. Maybe say you can do that, but make sure. Hear me, coaches? Make sure. Guys, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to come and share with you. You guys know who Roy Green is? He's always been trying to get me to come to Little Rock to play golf at the Lotion. I told him, I said, you know what, now I really want to come back because I got friends here now. So, but thank you guys so much for allowing me to come and be a part of this wonderful program. And thank you for your investment in these young people. I mean, you guys do this, what, this is the big one every year? But you,
yeah, we meet 14 weeks.
14 weeks. So these kids are, are being encouraged for 14 weeks throughout the year. And that's in a positive message. That is supporting these kids. That's giving them an opportunity to say, you know what, I got people who have my back and I can make it. So thank you very much, guys.
Outstanding.
Outstanding. Thank you.
Marcus Allen, everybody. Outstanding, Marcus. Woo! Great words, Marcus. Now when you watch the Heisman House commercials where Marcus is getting in a food fight, you feel like you know him a lot better. All right, what we're going to do, we're going to go ahead and conclude now. We want to get Marcus back on the plane and get him back so we don't have to deal with the weather, but we will do a few photos. If the honorees or parents have not taken your picture with Marcus, we'll do that on stage. Our 50-yard line members and our sponsors have not had their picture with Marcus. Please do that, and this just respect him when it's time for him to have to go. Thanks for being here, everybody. It was a great night. Good luck to everybody. Michael, congratulations.